Welcome back to this series where I predict every NFL team's game by game record. We're on part 4 where we're at the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, here's a quick mention. This video was supposed to come out Friday, but due to some unforeseen delays in the making process, it's going to come out on Sunday, June 15th. Part 5 will be tomorrow, as in tomorrow when you're watching this. And alright, now let's get back to the Chiefs. Week 1, they play the Chargers. It streams for free at 8 p.m. Eastern in Brazil on YouTube. Anyway, I actually think the Chargers get that game in Brazil. Next, there's the Super Bowl rematch. They play the Eagles. And you know what? Give me the Chiefs. They play the Giants week 3, and for some reason it's on Sunday Night Football. But give me the Chiefs, bro. What? Then they play the Ravens, and I think they win that game. So they're 3-1 now. They beat Jacksonville. Detroit is going to be the team that gets them. They beat the Raiders, then lose back-to-back games to the Commanders and to the Buffalo Bills. So they dropped to 5-4 heading into the bye week, then dropped to 5-5 as they lose to the Broncos. They pick it up by beating the Colts, lose to the Cowboys, beat the Texans. They do actually beat the Chargers in the Arrowhead. There will not be a Chiefs-Chargers game in SoFi because of the Brazil game week 1. They do beat the Titans. The Broncos in Kansas City, they win that game. That's the Christmas game. I forgot to mention this game right here, November 27th on Thanksgiving. And lastly, they lose to the Raiders in Las Vegas. That's an upset for the Raiders. 10-7 the Chiefs are. This is finally the year someone can knock them off. So moving on to the Los Angeles Chargers. They went 10-7 last year, but lost in the wild card due to the abomination that was the Houston Texans game. It started out fine, and then everything went downhill. Anyway, week 1, they played the Chiefs and win in Brazil on YouTube. Then they play in Las Vegas at 10 p.m. on ESPN. I complain all the time about not being able to watch Lakers national TV games because they're at 10 o'clock, but that's besides the point. The point is that the Chargers win this game. Then they host the Broncos. I think that's a win. They beat the Giants. Then they lose to the Commanders week 5. Miami is another win, and so is the Colts. So they head into this game at home against Minnesota on Thursday Night Football. I think they finally lose one right here. They beat the Titans, then the Steelers. Then they beat Jacksonville, so they're 8-2 heading into the bye. And this division might actually be locked up, barring another catastrophic choke job. The Raiders in LA, that's a win. They lose to Philadelphia. That Arrowhead game, that's another loss. They play Dallas, and I think they lose this one. And now they're skidding. Wait. Should I rephrase that? No, I don't think. And then in the last week of the season, they play the Denver Broncos, and they win that game. They go 11-6. And for the first time in 9 years, the Kansas City Chiefs have been dethroned at the top of the AFC West. Crazy. Now we got the Denver Broncos, the other team that's being hyped up as the team that will end the Chiefs' reign of terror over the AFC West. Went 10-7 last year, had about one good postseason highlight, and that's it. They just completely left after that first touchdown. And I'm not saying I hate the Broncos for what happened in Week 18, but serves y'all right. Actually, no, serves the Chiefs right. Anyway, Week 1, they play the Titans and win that game. They play Indy. They win that game too. They take their first loss to the Chargers, then lose to the Bengals Eagles, and okay, that's enough. I'm not picking the Giants to beat them. It's actually the Jets, but they play the Giants the next week. Either way, they won both those games, sweeping the New York Gauntlet. Not that both of those games are. Not that either of those games are in New York. Actually, they're in New York and London. And then they play the Cowboys week 8. I think they lose that game. The Texans, they do win, and the short week they play the Raiders on Thursday Night Football and get the job done there. Then they beat the Chiefs and are 7-4 at the bye. Lose to Washington, sweep the Raiders. Green Bay, I think they can take Green Bay. They beat the Jaguars. Christmas Day in Kansas City, they drop that game. And then the final game of the season against the Chargers, I think they lose that game. So they go 10-7, but they do get swept by the Chargers. Okay, meanwhile we got the Las Vegas Raiders, and depending on how the Bears and Vikings do, the AFC West could, depending on how them and the Raiders do, the AFC West could take down the NFC North as the best division in the league. Week 1 in New England, I think the Raiders lose that game. They lose to the Chargers, then the Commanders. They also lose to the Bears. These games are going to be competitive. They do lose to the Colts and then the Titans. Kansas City is a loss. They're 0-7 heading into the bye, but some of these games against some good teams have been competitive. I think they give the Chargers, Commanders, Bears, and Patriots a good fight. The Jaguars in Week 9, that's going to be their first one of the season. Then they play at Denver. I think they lose at Denver, yeah. And then they play the Cowboys and win that game. Well, I meant to say lose, but I already said win, and we got to give them a win, okay? Got to give Vegas a win. Then they play the Browns and somehow, someway, lose to the 2025 CE Cleveland Browns. Moving on from that embarrassment, they lose to the Chargers, then the Broncos. They lose to the Eagles in Philadelphia, then the Texans. They beat the Giants week 17 and get the greatest upset in franchise's history by beating the Chiefs. I think Geno Smith is going to make them good, along with Ashton Jeanty. I think he'll make them competitive, but basically the 2024 Bengals, but with a lot less wins, just a bunch of close losses. 4-13 for the Raiders. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.